Thank you for watching, liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing right now.
Chris, you're not going to have to record the rest of the week.
I know, it's just great. So who asked the question and what was the answer?
Okay, Chatter and Chris, that goes by the username of Helgar, said, question, is there a single media player that will play all media file extensions, and I do not want to use Real Player?
Ah.
And the answer that SC Thor gave us is...
Video LAN client, or VLC. You can get it
VLC.
from video/VLC. It's based on the libav codec, which is what FFmpeg is based on, and so it can read pretty much any file type. Is Windows Media Video, AVIs, XVids, MPEG 1, 2, 3, 4. It'll play DVDs without having to get a decoder thing. It has volume. It'll play damaged files, and it can actually stream files that aren't designed to be streamed, like XVID files, which don't normally actually stream.
Also encodes.
Yes, it can also encode and like stream. Video LAN client was actually designed to actually stream video from one computer to another computer over your LAN, and it's also cross-platform. You can run it on Linux, Windows, Mac, and even on cell phones.
And the interface.
Oh yes, it works on Windows Mobile.
Just something along with VLC that I use as well.
It also has a web interface, mouse gestures.
It's just a great player.
Just something else as well. In terms of codec, something that I usually install as well is the K-Lite Mega Codec Pack. It's just a collection of video for Windows and ACM codecs, direct show. Very, very good. I used it when I was developing my final year project in college, but I find it very, very good because you get loads of different profiles that you can select from, so you can choose whatever codecs that you need. They do different versions of the codec pack, but I always install the Mega Codec Pack. It's on codecguide.com.
Yeah, I install the same thing. I do the same thing.
Yeah, it's pretty good, Chris, isn't it?
Yeah. I've got VLC.
You just gotta watch out for it though, because...
For what?
What? No, it's like if you have Real Player and QuickTime installed, it offers to actually remove them and install their own versions.
Which isn't bad.
Of those players. That's generally I don't. I just say no. I want to keep the Real Player as well and that kind of thing. But no, I use the K-Lite Mega Codec Pack. It's quite good.
Just to point out, in case anybody hasn't gone to the website or hasn't seen yet, I didn't hear anybody say this. It is open source.
Yes.
There is a link right on the main page, and it says if your operating system is not supported, you have to get the source code, and it gives you the link. It says get the source code here. All you do is click, and it's right there.
It's very, very easy to install. I mean, you can
use it to watch DVDs in your computer. Even it works for everything.
Wait, what VLC?
It's in the repository.
Wait.
Repository VLC.
You're talking about VLC now, not the K-Lite Mega Codec Pack.
No, VLC. Yes.
Yeah.
VLC. Yes. I'm sorry.
VLC
is a redistribution of a bunch of separate codecs that all have different licenses.
Well, see, I don't have an issue with VLC on the Mac at all because I can jive with its interface. But despite it being skinnable, I just cannot stand VLC's interface on Windows. It's just ghastly bad. But it does play everything.
Mac is beautiful.
I always watch it in full screen, honestly.
Well, that's another way of looking at it, I guess. True.
But I thought the interface was the same. It's like the WX widgets or whatever.
No,
it's different on the Mac. It's different on the Mac.
It runs better. Runs definitely better.
It's very much like Juice, actually. The interface. It's very, very similar to Juice.
I use it to watch TV shows and DVDs and stuff, so I watch it full screen all the time.
Alan, somebody just asked me a question. They PM'd it. I guess they didn't want to ask in chat. What is that video extension? What's that file extension that you sent me that home video on? And it wouldn't play. Remember, it wouldn't play in Winamp or QuickTime because they just asked me, well, can't we just use QuickTime or Winamp?
Well, it's a .avi file that is.
It was an AVI. That's
XVID.
right.
Right, but
the XVID codec
can contain a ton of different codecs, and the one I was using was XVID. So basically, they'd have to get something like K-Lite Mega Codec Pack to be able to play it in Winamp or whatever.
Yeah, because they were wondering about that, whether they can just use, why can't I just use QuickTime? And that's why I wanted to point that out, because it didn't work for me on certain file formats.
Yes, because XVID is an open source codec, and the license says that you, depending on the different codecs, have different licenses, and some of them say that you can't redistribute it as part of QuickTime. The people have to go and get it themselves.
Right.
And so that's why.
Yeah, that's how I started using VLC, and I love it. I've been using it constantly ever since you had me download it.
Because VLC is based on this open source library called libAV Codec, and basically it's their own implementation of XVID, Windows Media Video, the QuickTime.mov, the MPEG-4, H.264, all the different codecs. They've basically written their own player or system for it so that they can even play damaged files.
Now, what about you were talking about this earlier, FFmpeg? How does that play into VLC, if at all?
They both use libAV codec for decoding video.
So tell everybody again about FFmpeg.
FFmpeg is basically a converter program that can basically take any set of inputs, whether it actually be like streaming like from your sound card or your like a video capture card, or separate files or combined files, and you can select the container, the codec, the bit rate, and everything, and basically take any input and make a set output. There's an article that was on Dig the other day on how to use FFmpeg to actually make your own YouTube, where you can basically, people can upload any video format to your site, and it actually gets converted to a flash file that's this size by this size and this frame rate, and it just, because it's command line driven, you can script it to do whatever you want.
Wow. Well, I know I've used it before, but I had no idea.
Audio, video.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I've used FFmpeg before, sometimes on the command line, but largely through GUI experiences, graphical user interfaces, like FFmpeg X on Windows, or I'm sorry, FFmpeg X on OS X is, I think, the best overlay or interface to FFmpeg, no doubt. I mean, I've tried a lot of them on Windows, and I just cannot stand any of them. Cam Studio is being recommended. I'll have to look at it again. It's been a while since I've last seen it. But
here's a question. I'm not in the chat room, so you guys will have to read for me. But I'm looking for a program to superimpose the live Pirillo logos over, but I'm on Windows, not on Mac. I was using Virtual Dub, and it's a logo plugin, but it doesn't do transparency, so I can't do the rounded edge on the sponsor logo.
Well, can't you do well, I'm not too worried about rounded edges. Can't you just use FFmpeg?
I don't think there's not to superimpose the logo over top of the video.
That's a surprise.
The manual for FFmpeg is very, very long.
Yeah, it is.
I read enough.
Which brings us to full circle to where we started tonight, with things being too difficult.
Well, VLC is easy, and
yes, it is.
It's easy to play. Once you have to mess around with the settings, and if you want to get into streaming with it.
Yeah, but you know,
a
honestly,
little complicated.
Out of the box, it works. It does work.
It has an ActiveX plugin for Internet Explorer and a regular Mozilla plugin for actually playing video inside your browser. It has it can do context menus where you can right-click a folder full of files, even if they're MP3 files or your video files, and add them to the playlist. It has all the features you expect of a regular media player, but it's completely free and open source and doesn't have any advertisements or anything.
I love the open source, especially when it comes to
I
media.
believe Datalore left to go to work.
That's funny.
I feel so bad that we had him on this long.
Oh no, he wanted to stay. He wouldn't go to bed.
Yeah.
Wow, is it really doing this live video thing? Is that addictive?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Chris, you have no idea.
Yeah, I have no idea. I have no idea how addictive